Hi, and welcome to 20-Minute Christian Counselor. My name is Rob Oram. I served as a pastor for almost 25 years, and now I have my own counseling practice. If you'd like to learn more about me, or schedule a counseling appointment, or book a speaking engagement, visit my website at roboram.com. That's R-O-B-B, two B's, O-R-A-M.com. In this podcast, I provide biblical counsel for the practical matters of life. So if you're facing some challenges right now, either personally or in a relationship, and you're looking for some helpful wisdom, keep listening for the next 20 minutes or so. You'll be glad you did. All right, welcome back. Well, today I want to talk about the holidays. If you're like me, the holiday season is a mixture of feelings. I definitely have anticipation, some excitement. I often feel a lot of gratitude, some joy, and if I'm honest, I also always have some feelings of dread. I hate to admit that, but it's true. Why? What makes the holidays so hard? Well, I think it's helpful, actually, for us to take a moment and to answer that question. What is really making it difficult for you during this holiday season? And let me just throw out some ideas to you, all right? A lot of times we have family issues, family conflicts, strained relationships, and that can be one source of heaviness and burden to us in the holiday season. For many of us, the holidays stirs up grief. We've experienced significant loss recently or even a long time ago. The death of a loved one, the end of a relationship, separation from people that we love. Those are all things we can be grieving about, and the holidays kind of stirs all of that up. Another reason the holidays can be difficult are just the extra stressors that we have in our lives. Financial stressors, scheduling stressors, relationship stressors. It just is a more stressful time than other times of the year, unfortunately. Sometimes some of us have had past traumatic experiences, maybe the holidays or maybe just in our lives. We have unhealed wounds and painful memories. And all of this, again, this time of year, these things tend to be stirred up and come to the forefronts of our hearts and our minds and make it difficult. And I can't skip this one too. If you're alive in our culture at all, you experience a lot of pressure from our culture about expectations about what your holiday should look like and what you should do and be able to do this time of year, and what a healthy, happy family and marriage looks like. In a lot of ways, the holiday season is a time when we have to face reality. And that can be difficult. But things don't have to be the way they've always been. It is possible to make things different and even better. And that's what I'm going to talk about. But right up front, I'm going to give you the key to the whole thing. Are you ready for this? Right up front, I want you to know that you are the critical factor. You are the one who can make your experience this holiday season better. Not other people, not your circumstances, you. You are the critical factor. But Rob, you might ask, how can I make things better? What can I do? Well, I'm glad you asked. So what I want to do now is share with you three strategies, 3 ways to better enjoy your holidays this year. Strategy number one, mindset number one, you have to adjust your expectations. Adjust your expectations. Despite what all the commercials portray, expecting a holiday season to be all joy and fulfillment and peace and happiness is unrealistic. The reality is, in life, the reality of life is it's always a combination of joys and sorrows, fulfillment and disappointment, pleasure and suffering. And the holiday season is no different. Expecting it to be otherwise is unrealistic and unreasonable. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, most of us approach the holidays with a lot of unrealistic expectations. And so I want to articulate a few of those right now. Just listen and see if maybe some of these apply to you. You may not even realize you have some of these until you hear me say them. All right? Here are some unrealistic expectations. I should be happy. I should be able to make everybody happy. I should be able to meet everybody's needs. I should be able to get everyone what they want. We should all be able to get along nicely. We shouldn't have any tension or disagreements or conflicts. I should be able to add a dozen or more things to my calendar this month with no problem. We should be able to spend thousands of dollars more than we usually do and be able to handle it financially. No one should get sick and miss any of our gatherings. I should not get sick. My kids and my family members should want to spend more time with me or with us now than they usually do. The weather should be perfect so we can be outside or so we can travel or others can travel safely. Everybody should love and show appreciation for the gifts that I give them. Our in-laws should be willing to share the kids and the grandkids equally and fairly. My spouse should be nicer and more available during this season. We shouldn't have any big problems with our homes, our cars, or our health during the season. Essentially, we should all love each other and get along and be happy and joyful together. Do any of those sound familiar to you? You know, these are just some of the unrealistic expectations that many of us have about the holiday season, whether we realize it or not. And by the way, just a note, any time that your thinking includes the word should, that's a red flag. That probably means you have an expectation of yourself, of others, of the world, and that expectation might be unrealistic. So what's going to help is to have realistic expectations. You need to adopt this kind of a mindset. I know there are going to be scheduling challenges and financial challenges, probably health challenges, for sure relationship challenges. I'm not going to expect everything to go perfectly. Instead, I'm going to be prepared for some things to go wrong. That's realistic. Remember, Jesus even said, in this world we will have trouble. He didn't say, in this world you will have trouble except during the holidays. We need to expect trouble. We need to expect imperfection and trials and tribulations. Our troubles don't stop or take a vacation just because it's the holidays. So I'm going to give you a kind of a helpful, hopefully helpful, practical exercise, all right? Take some time to sit down and write out your expectations for this season. Part of the reason this is going to be good for you is it's going to force you to recognize and realize what some of those are. Sit down and write them out, your expectations of yourself, your expectations of your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, your parents, your siblings, your extended family, your friends, your coworkers, all of them. Write it out. And then sit back and look at your list. And then ask God to help you be realistic. Is this possible? Is this realistic? Are these expectations really reasonable? Or can you look at them and already see ways in which you're probably going to be disappointed? So having unrealistic expectations is one reason the holidays are so hard. And so adjusting them, making them more realistic and reasonable, is one key that's going to help you enjoy them more. So let me talk about a second key, all right? Second strategy you can implement to hopefully enjoy your holiday season more is to have healthy boundaries. Oh, there's that boundaries word again. Let me just make sure we're on the same page. Boundaries are limits or rules that we set for ourselves, in our relationships with other people. They're what we choose to define as acceptable behavior and what we decide is not acceptable. What we will tolerate and what we won't. That's what boundaries are all about. And having appropriate boundaries helps us to be more healthy, personally and in our relationships. And in the busy, demanding, emotional season of the holidays, it's going to be very helpful for you to have healthy boundaries. So let me again give you some examples of what some healthy boundaries might look like in this season. Let me articulate some of these. I'm not going to be able to buy everyone the presents they're asking for. I'm not going to be able to attend every event at my kids' school. I'm not going to be able to be at every Christmas party and every event with our friends or family. I'm going to have to say no to this particular volunteer opportunity at church this year. I'm not going to be able to give money for this cause during this season. I'm going to have to say no to this event because it won't be healthy for me to be around this person. I'm going to have to be willing to disappoint this person or these people because I just can't do what they're asking within my schedule, within my financial limits. I'm only going to be able to invite these people and not everyone to this event. I'm going to have to say no to some people. I realize, I know hearing me say some of these things right now might be making some of you really uncomfortable. The thought of setting these boundaries may sound selfish, or wrong, or unloving, un-Christ-like, and would maybe even make you feel guilty. I just want to encourage you, setting boundaries is healthy, and it is appropriate. Again, Jesus said, let your yes be yes, and your no, no. Did you catch that? Sometimes it's okay to say no. Jesus himself had boundaries. I don't have time to go into all the examples, but sometimes Jesus said no. Sometimes Jesus stayed away. Sometimes Jesus left. Jesus had boundaries himself. So let me again suggest a practical exercise for you in this area. Sit down, again, take a look at your calendar. Write down all the events and the activities you think you need to do or that you anticipate being invited to. Make the list and then sit back and look at it. I mean, can you do all of this? Is that realistic? Would that be healthy for you, for your marriage, for your family, for your finances? Or are there some things you're going to have to say no to? I want to encourage you to make some decisions about this ahead of time, rather than waiting until you're in the thick of it or until things pop up. It's going to be easier for you in the long run to make a plan ahead of time. And I just want to lovingly encourage you as you're heading into this holiday season. Remember, you are not the Savior. You can't do everything. You can't be everywhere. You aren't able to meet everyone's needs. It's not your responsibility to make everybody happy. You have limits, time limits, energy limits, financial limits. And that's okay. That is okay. So a second reason the holidays can be so difficult is because we don't have healthy boundaries. We may not have any boundaries. And we're stretching ourselves, our time, our money way too far. Further than God ever designed us to be able to do. And the remedy to this is to set and to maintain healthy boundaries. All right, let me share with you one more strategy, one more approach for making your holiday season better. And this has to do with focus. You need to intentionally focus on God. I really believe another reason the holidays get so difficult is because we let our lives get out of focus. We become so consumed with all kinds of other things that I've already mentioned, and we lose our focus on God. So in this coming holiday season, rather than becoming obsessed with shopping for the right gifts and making your home look perfect and attending all the events and all this other stuff, you need to intentionally look for and pursue God. The Apostle Paul wrote about this in his letter to the Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 2. He said, "Set your minds on the things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God." Set your mind on the things above and not on the things that are on the earth. So what does that look like? What can you do to make this happen? Well, let me give you briefly 3 simple, but what I believe are effective things that you can do. Number 1, be thankful. Be thankful. Remember to constantly thank God for all of your blessings. The relationships, His provision, His answered prayer. Just intentionally focus on all the ways that God has blessed you and continually thank Him. That is a good thing to focus on, and that focus will change your holiday experience despite whatever else is going on. Number 2, be disciplined. Be disciplined. Despite the craziness of this coming season, be disciplined to spend time seeking the Lord. How do you do that? The same old things. Spend time in His Word, in the Bible. Spend time talking to Him in prayer. Make sure you spend some time being around other Christ followers, people who are seeking God. Make sure you implement this into your life. Maybe you commit to reading a daily devotional during the month of December, or listening to a podcast, or watching some kind of program, or reading a book, whatever. But as you're entering this season, make a conscious choice to do some things, to be disciplined, to continue to seek God. Spending time seeking the Lord in this way is going to change how the holidays feel to you. And the third strategy is to be dependent, not independent, be dependent. I realize sometimes the holidays can be very emotionally difficult, and they can stir up a lot of pain. And rather than trying to avoid that pain or deny that it's there, or numb yourself out, or escape, or distract yourself from it, instead, I want to encourage you to allow your feelings to draw you to Jesus. Turn to Him. Talk to Him. Lean on Him. Seek Him in your challenges, in the pain, the disappointments, the memories, the unhealed wounds, the complicated relationships. Just remember, you don't have to deal with all of this on your own. Jesus is here. He's near. And He cares. And He's available to help you. So allow God to use all of these stressors and frustrations and hurts to draw you closer to Him and to reveal more of Himself to you and to help you grow in your faith and your relationship with Him. Intentionally leaning on the Lord during this holiday season will impact your experience of it for the better. This holiday season can be different than the ones from your past. They can. But it's going to require you to be intentional. Change your expectations, develop and implement healthy boundaries, and keep your focus on Jesus. If you do these things, this will be the best holiday season you've ever experienced. Thanks for listening today. If you found this to be helpful to you, I want to ask you to do 3 things that would really be helpful to me. First, click on the subscribe or follow button so you can find out right away when I publish new episodes. Second, take a moment and write a review. This will help other people find this podcast. And third, share this podcast on your social media so your friends can be helped as well. Finally, if you'd like to contact me to learn more about my counseling practice, schedule an appointment, or arrange for me to come speak at an event, reach out to me at my website at roboram.com. That's ROBB, 2 B's, ORAM.com. Until next time, keep your eyes on Jesus.